This is Texans TV.
This week on Texans 360, we go one-on-one with offensive coordinator Tim Kelly and take a deep dive into the 2020 Texans. Texans 360 starts now.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll, touchdown Texans.
Hey there, friends, and welcome into Texans 360. It's so good to have you. My name's Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and we've got my good pal, Sean Pendergast from Sports Radio 610, the Houston Press. He's also the host of the pre- and post-game shows when the Texans play football games, and we hope they're playing football games again very soon. Sean, we got a fun show because we're going one-on-one with Ka'imi Fairbairn. We've got a graduation message from Deshaun Watson, but let's start with a little bit of news of the week. We heard from offensive coordinator Tim Kelly for the first time this offseason, and he's going to be calling the plays in 2020. First impressions, big takeaways you got from that press conference with the OC.
Yeah, I would say Tim Kelly, probably a little more talkative than he was during his media sessions during the season, which was good to see. He had a pretty high bar to live up to after Anthony Weaver last week. I thought Anthony Weaver captivated people last week. My biggest takeaway, Drew, is that I think Tim Kelly and I think Bill O'Brien too are both very excited about the fact that some of the significant pieces of this offense that were with the team last year are now in their full virtual offseason, but their first full offseason with the team. Laramie Tunsil, Duke Johnson, Kenny Stills, guys like that.
Yeah, lots of weapons, and he's excited about that. You mentioned the offensive line. He really likes the continuity of those 5 starters coming back. Texans were 5-1 when those 5 started together, so they want to get more than 6 games out of them. But it's time now to hear from him one-on-one. He talked with our play-by-play voice, the voice of the Texans, Mark Vandermeer, and this is what those two chatted about.
Texans offensive coordinator Tim Kelly. Coach, thanks a lot for being with us. How are you doing?
Good, Mark. How are you doing?
Doing very well, getting through this as we all are. What has it been like for you coaching the team this way with the other coaches, meeting this way, trying to get things done for the 2020 campaign?
Yeah, I mean, personally, the first thing that comes up is really kind of gives you a new appreciation for all the work that my wife does at home. You know, being home with these 2 kids, it's a an eye opener to see what they go through during the season, because I'm gone and I don't I hardly see him unless it's on the weekend. So being able to see her kind of do her thing here, it's been pretty cool. As far as being coaching the guys, it's really a unique situation, having to do everything virtually and being able to have all this interaction, with our guys via Zoom and the different mediums that we have on our computers and laptops and tablets and whatnot. It's really been unique, and it's been interesting to see how those guys have adjusted and have really taken to it. It seems these days everybody seems to be more comfortable in front of a screen, so this is kind of really providing them their safe space, if you will, to kind of come out and really do a good job communicating with one another and with us as coaches.
How might the offense look different in 2020? Well, we know about some of the new guys, and I would imagine you've been very creative already trying to figure out ways to mix them in. But what do you think of the offense overall going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, every year is different, right? So every year there's going to be new players. And for us, it's always going to be about trying to put those new pieces in a position to take advantage of what the defense gives us. So, how can we find different ways to utilize Duke and David and Brandon and Randall and Will and Kenny and Kiki and DeAndre and Fells and Kahale and Akins and Thomas. I mean, the list goes on. So, sitting here and being able to name that many names is a good thing. So we have a lot of people who have made plays in this league, and it's really going to be up to us to try and put them in position to be successful.
And you mentioned the guys you have, Coach. It's not just about how you fit them into whatever you want to do. It's adapting to the defense that you're going to play, right?
Yeah, and everything that we do is going to be predicated on trying to take advantage of the issues that we may see going against the defense. So having the different versatile pieces that are going to allow us to be creative is definitely exciting. Starting off the season in Arrowhead on Thursday night, that's always, an exciting opportunity. and then being able, to play some teams that we may not have played for a few years. Me personally, going back home to Chicago is something that I'm excited for, and then having the Packers come here and Minnesota come here. So personally speaking, selfishly speaking, those were all teams that I was very familiar with when I was growing up and, coming from the south suburbs of Chicago. So being able to play those guys is always kind of exciting for me, especially because it doesn't happen very often.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you on behalf of all the season ticket members, partners, friends of the Texans. Thanks a lot for spending some time with us, and best of luck getting ready for the season.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Stay safe.
So clearly the weapons abound for the Houston Texans on offense next season. Tim Kelly talked about it with Vandermeer. He talked about it in the press conference. And Sean Pendergast lets you and I talk about it. There are so many differences what you had last year versus what you have now. And one of them is in the backfield. It's going to be Duke Johnson and David Johnson. And that versatility is something that the Texans and Kelly are going to hang their hat on, it looks like a little bit in 2020.
Yeah, no question about it. David Johnson is a much different back, obviously, than Carlos Hyde. I think the big question and one of the big X factors, Drew, is what version of David Johnson are we getting this year with the Houston Texans? Are they getting the David Johnson that kind of struggled a little bit the last couple of years, or are they getting the version of the David Johnson that we saw his first 2 seasons in the league when he was one of the most dynamic, physical kind of backs in the league? This is going to be a really exciting offense to watch. He's one of the biggest X factors on this team this year, no doubt about it.
And you got to figure his presence, along with Johnson's presence, is going to help out the receiving core and vice versa, because there's speed all over the place with Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller and Kenny Stills and Randall Cobb. So they've got some weapons there out wide to catch the ball. Yeah,
I'm really excited about the offense. I think look, the elephant in the room is still that DeAndre Hopkins isn't here anymore. And I think some of the skepticism that people may have over the offense taking a step without DeAndre Hopkins has to do with how they arrived at this group of players. But we're here now, and this is the group of players. And if you just told somebody in a vacuum that these are the weapons that you have, and with Deshaun Watson going into his 4th year, I think you'd say, wow, this has the makings of a really, really dangerous kind of offense. It's going to look different now without DeAndre Hopkins and with all that speed on the field. And I think Randall Cobb, having an experienced guy finally at that slot position, that whoever the quarterback would be over the last several years needed that sort of thing. In this case, Deshaun Watson this season, I think is going to be also a huge X factor for this team. Randall Cobb doing some of the things that he was able to do in his Green Bay and in his Dallas days last year. He was pretty good for the Cowboys last year.
Yeah, and you bring up the word X factor, or the term X factor. I think that's kind of been eliminated with the offensive line. Not all the way, but for the first time in about 5-6 years, you really feel good about this group of guys, this core of guys that's coming back, because you've got that anchor at left tackle like you did when you had Dwayne Brown, and you've got good guys around him too. That's something that I don't think we can emphasize or underscore enough. The offensive line should be much, much better than it's been the last 4 or 5 years.
That's been lost in this sea of moves that have been made this year, Drew. That's been the big thing that's been kind of ignored because of all the moves that have been made that haven't needed to involve the offensive line, is that I loved your stat about them being 5-1 with this group of offensive linemen. Right. And I think it was Tim Kelly said in his press conference that this is the first time since he's been here with Bill O'Brien that they brought back the entire same group for a 2nd year in a row. And it's a really, really talented group of offensive linemen. I think that's getting ignored by a lot of the folks who are evaluating the Texans this year. And I think that's a big reason why I think they're going to take a step up offensively.
All right, we haven't even mentioned special teams, which we're going to do after the break. So stick with us, because we're going one-on-one with kicker Ka'imi Fairbairn here on Texans 360.
Here's Fairbairn for the win.
I call game.
28 yards, right hash mark. The snap is down. Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good! And the Texans go to the divisional round in dramatic fashion.
Boy, those were fun times at the end of the wild card win this year. Texans over the Bills. Drew Dougherty with my good pal, Sean Pendergast. And Sean, Texans are hoping for many more of those type of videos because you only do them when those are going down in January. Ka'imi Fairbairn was a guy who had that last play for the Houston Texans, and he had a pretty good season there from about midway on, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of got things straightened out midway through the season. They got him locked. They got him locked up this offseason to a long-term deal. Look, the Texans are a team that has big playoff aspirations. They're going to play in a lot of close games with a lot of necessary big kicks. They've got their guy locked down now, so that's good news.
He's cool, calm, and collected. He has that deal, like you mentioned. He also got married this offseason. We went one-on-one with Texans kicker Ka'imi Fairbairn. Well, look who it is. It is the kicker for the Houston Texans, a good guy to talk with at all times. It's Ka'imi Fairbairn. And first things first, 2 orders of congratulations for you. 1, congrats on the new marriage. And 2, congrats on the new contract. It's been a nice offseason for you, Ka'imi.
Yeah, 2020 has been very crazy for me. I had a lot of big moments for sure with my wife now and being an extension and being able to stay in Houston, but also because of this craziness. So it's been a wild ride so far.
So what's the training been like? How much has this affected you? Because kicker can be a pretty lonely position as far as getting ready. It's definitely lonely on game day at times, but what's it been like for you as far as having to adjust, if at all?
Yeah, adjustments have been, it's strange not being able to be in the stadium and getting the work in with, John Weeks and Brian Anger especially. But, we built a strong foundation from last year, and I'm glad we are all coming back. And we got Coach Seeley and Tracy, with the guidance. And I think we have a strong special teams unit, so veteran group, and we're going to keep it going this next year.
No doubt. And you've been around a few years now, and you've seen this transformation. You bring up a strong special teams group. It really was outstanding last year and outstanding the year before in 18 in coverage, both kickoff and punts. I mean, What's been the main difference in your eyes these last 2 years versus what was going on here in Houston before?
I can't really tell the difference because, I haven't been here for too long. But Coach O'Brien has really preached the importance of special teams. And, you just see it in the results. It changes games, and guys on the team really take it seriously. And even for the guys who don't play special teams, they realize the importance of it. It's important to take the time to, during practice, during the week, during the off season, and really focus on that part of the game.
How has this virtual setting been, and what's it been like for you guys as specialists?
We kind of, we do our own thing most of the time. I try to get in some kicking sessions on an open field when I can. But as far as that, we kind of just stay in the loop. We might throw back some film back and forth to try and get another set of eyes on it. But apart from that, it's pretty much just staying in touch and making sure everyone's healthy. Well,
Ka'imi Fairbairn, it is so awesome to catch up with you. I'm glad you're doing well. Congrats on what's been an awesome offseason, and we're really looking forward to seeing you kick and split some more uprights in 2020.
Yes, sir.
Sound good?
Can't wait to see you guys too, man. You guys take care, stay safe, and see you when I see you.
Yes, sir. Take care. Coming up, what will the defense look like in 2020? Texans 360 will be right back.
And he's flat for a loss. Brought down to the backfield.
Third and 4. Meanwhile, this is going to be picked off.
Here's pressure, and Brissett's going to be sacked.
It comes into the arms of Houston.
In trouble. Ball is out again. J.J. Watt, and he falls on it.
Holy cow.
This team has fight. We have heart, man. We're going to be ready for whoever we play next, man. Over and out.
Texans looking to bolster the defense in 2020. Texans 360 rolls on with Drew Dougherty and Sean Pendergast. And Sean, before we get into a discussion about the defense, there's an oversight on my part. Earlier in the show, I mentioned Ka'imi Fairbairn. He got married this offseason. Well, also, J.J. Watt got married this offseason too, and he's a big member of the defense. And you got married too. I don't want to.
Thank you. Yeah.
So.
And we're all experiencing great success this offseason.
That's right. Congratulations again on the marriage. And let's talk about Anthony Weaver. Going to bring some different philosophies than we've seen around here with Romeo Crennel. But Romeo Crennel thankfully stays in the building, and I'm really happy about that because he's got that reservoir of knowledge. But what do you see maybe going differently with Weaver calling the plays defensively now?
Well, I think, I think you got to look at Anthony Weaver's pedigree. And while he spent a lot of time around RAC the last few years, his biggest influence to me has always been Rex Ryan. I've spent some time with Weaver back when he was a player. We used to do a regular hit on the radio. Yeah. Myself and John Harris used to do a weekly with Anthony Weaver. And he would talk and gush about Rex Ryan constantly and his coaching style and things like that. I'm not saying he's going to be just a walking copycat of Rex Ryan, but I think we're going to see a lot of different elements to his defense than we've seen the last few years with RAC. Maybe some aggressiveness, some scheming into things for certain guys. I think this could be good news for guys like Jacob Martin and the rookie Jonathan Grenard. Turns out he maybe schemes them into some sacks and whatnot. So I'm excited to see that. Look, there's a lot of pressure on Anthony Weaver. They didn't make a lot of changes personnel-wise on the defense. They brought a lot of the guys back from last year. Little tweaks here and there, and obviously some guys they picked up in the draft. But in a healthy J.J. Watt makes a big difference too. But by and large, it's the same group that they're bringing back that was not a great defense statistically last year. So a lot of pressure on Anthony Weaver, early in the season with that schedule.
How key is it that J.J. Watt was able to come back and play in that playoff game as far as getting him set for 2020, the regular season, you think?
Yeah, probably. I got to imagine it helped. I got to imagine more than anything else, Drew, from a confidence standpoint, anytime I think you're an athlete and you come back from an injury that ended your season, you wonder what it's going to be like until you get on the field, how that body part is going to work, how that ring rust and so forth is going to translate and how you're going to be able to shake that off. He's had a chance to make sure that everything is back in working order in that playoff game. And as we saw in the Buffalo game, JJ still has all his clubs in the bag. So he'll be good to go. So I think that was big in that he's not going to be testing that pectoral muscle out for the first time on Thursday night, September 10th against the Kansas City Chiefs, right? He's already tested it out in a game that's a winner-take-all game against the Buffalo Bills and then against the Chiefs in the next round.
Indeed he has. All right, stick with us because we got to hear from the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, spreading some love, spreading some knowledge to some high school graduates here in 2020. Stick with us. Texans 360 rolls on. Welcome back. Texans 360 rolls on with Drew and Sean, and Deshaun Watson has been working out with Laramie Tunsil quite a bit this offseason, so you got a good blindside protection and quarterback connection going on, but he's also staying in touch with his teammates virtually. 2020, huge season coming up, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it, and especially early on. Mahomes, Jackson, Roethlisberger, Cousins, those first 4 games. Aaron Rodgers lurking in the weeds after that. So a lot of pressure on Deshaun early in the season. But it's his team now, Drew. We've heard that recurring theme this year. This is Deshaun Watson's team heading into year 4.
Yeah, he likes that pressure that you mentioned, and he also likes being positive and thinking about the future, which is something he just did recently with some kiddos who are headed off to college in 2020.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cecil Shorts III, former Houston Texan wide receiver, current Texans ambassador, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, your own Pro Bowl quarterback, Deshaun Watson. How are you today, man?
I'm doing well. I'm blessed, man. Staying healthy. Just working out and hanging with the fam during these times. So I'm doing great.
Best piece of advice that you got while you were in high school to help you be successful at the next level in college, not only athletics, but academically as well?
I think the best advice was probably whatever you do and whatever you decide to do is continue to have that confidence level that you have on the football field like you have in the classroom. Because my confidence level on the football field, the way I prepare, the way I study the game, the way I go out there and step on the field each and every time, is top notch, and I'm gonna give everything I have. So if I can relate that, everything I do on the football field to life or to sport or to school and academics, I can do everything or anything that I want to. And I applied that, in high school. I applied that in college. Helped me get to where I was, be able to graduate early, leave school early, and fulfill my dream.
My question for you is, how have you grown as a person through each milestone of graduating both high school and college, and then you becoming a professional athlete?
That's a great question. I would say my maturity level as far as the way I approach my profession grew each and every milestone. Say, when I was in high school, of course, I was learning so much, and I was, one of the best players to at my position and at that lead. But once I got to college, like I said before, I got more detail, learned how to be, more prepared whenever I stepped on the field. I took care of my body, eating, like a professional. And once I got to the NFL, that even took, 10 times more better, especially with the guys that I've been around that's been in the league for so much longer than me. Learning from J.J. Watt, learning from Tyrann Mathieu, learning from, all these, great future Hall of Famers. So for me, it was definitely the maturity level and how to approach, people and communicate with people and how to take care of my body was the biggest, improvement that I helped in each milestone. Congrats to the class of 2020.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff to see there from the quarterback of the Houston Texans. And if you want more content like that, go to HoustonTexans.com. The Houston Texans mobile app, even scan a QR code, and all sorts of great stuff will happen. Sean, I know you're a big fan of the app, the website and stuff, and I'm a big fan of you. This is fun. I appreciate you coming on. Wish you were sitting next to me here in studio, but, maybe sometime soon, hopefully, right?
Soon enough, baby. Soon enough. It's good to do it virtually with you, and I can't wait for the season to get started.
Amen to that. Hey, thanks to all the folks that put this together, like Tyler Marcotte, Tyler Suddarth, and the rest of the crew. For them, I'm Drew Dougherty, and we will see you next time. Go Texans! Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.